I think we all thought that AI would only affect us in terms of making our jobs easier or making cool applications and softwares and just the creative part of it, but it's literally changing so many industries and we are directly affected. Let me explain. So, to set the scene, there's a big memory company called Micron, and they're quitting the part of their business that sells RAM and SSDs. For context, RAM is a short-term memory that your computer uses to think, and SSDs are the drives that hold your files. And so losing a big seller just means having fewer options for building or upgrading your PCs. Now, I know that it's just one company, right? So what's the big deal? Well, it's not just one company. In fact, this whole movement is happening across companies. I think Micron is just a big name, and so they made headlines, but this has been happening. And I know that, there's so many customers, there's so many people like you and me that would pay money for RAM and SSDs and just, upgrading computer parts or whatever. And so if there's people that want this, if there is a business, if there is money to be made, then why would you ditch these customers? Why would you discontinue a product that clearly people want? Well, it's because there's a higher paying customer on the market now, and it's AI. And AI needs a special kind of super fast memory, and these companies are going to pay a lot of money for it. The special memory is called HBM, and it stands for high bandwidth memory, and it just means that the chips are stacked vertically, kind of like pancakes, but data can move very fast in between them with less power. And AI needs these because they shove mountains of data through these chips every second. They're doing all this heavy lifting and machine learning, and so HBM is the only stuff that's fast enough to keep up with their demands. And so far, I can understand that. So the question is, why are we affected? Well, these HBM chips are going to be made in the same factories using similar materials as normal RAM, and so companies now have to make a choice. Do they sell to us like they've been doing, or do they cater to AI instead? Now keep in mind these HBM chips sell for way more money. Obviously you and me, we're going to pay market value for whatever we see at Best Buy or whatever else. But these AI companies, they're building massive AI models that's going to bring in so much revenue for them. It's going to last them years. They're putting down probably billions of dollars. And so these HBM chips are going to sell for so much more. And I think manufacturing companies are slowly realizing that, hey, we can make more money if we cater to the AI side of this market instead of the public. And so we're affected. We're affected because there's less supply for the public now. And this has already been happening. I think it's been subtle but consistent, but RAM prices have increased 170% in the last year alone. And I think it's going to continue on this path for a while. In fact, some of the RAM right now, some of the nicer, especially the fancier stuff, it costs more than your entire PC would have costed you a few years ago. And here's the thing, you don't have to be a high-tech developer. You don't have to be, a super user. Here's the thing, all of us can probably name at least one person in our life that wants to upgrade their computer parts. And it could be you. You could be into gaming or content or streaming or graphic design, you name it. Even if you don't have an actual purpose for it, who doesn't want a computer that runs faster and quicker and it's quieter and everything just works better? So I think a lot of people are affected, a lot more than what meets the eye. And what this all just means at the end of the day is that old computer that you really want to upgrade that's collecting dust, it just means that you better make sure it sticks around for a few more years, because if you can't afford the newer parts, then you literally don't have a choice anymore. You're gonna have to stick with what you have because AI needs to eat. And if AI needs to eat, then you need to starve. That's the bottom line. There's also fear that, obviously once some time passes, I think the market will kind of even out. I think other companies will realize that, hey, we can start producing RAM now. I think there's a demand for this. And so when the supply gets better for the public, there's a fear that what if companies continue to leave these prices high because they like the extra profit? It's just something to think about. So anyways, that's the story. And the bottom line is, AI has come so far. I think it's so useful in so many things we do. But I think the last thing we expected is it now affects what's available to us on the shelf. You will walk down the shelf looking for stuff and some stuff literally won't be there anymore, or companies will go dark, and it's all because of AI and what they need to continue, So now our shelves are affected, our prices are affected, and a lot of us are paying the price. Thank you for watching my video.